Hello RC fans, Racing 393. LMP now tends to sort of die down over the summer. There are a few events here and there. For example, you could do GT12. I think they run at most indoor clubs. But generally speaking, the indoor car pit scene lessens, as in gets less. I hope you can understand that. Throughout the summer, which is on one side a shame, on the other side quite handy. So to be honest, this at the moment I don't intend doing any other videos this year for this, because I'm not intending on using it until perhaps whenever the next club meetings, perhaps if Eastbourne still run there, or at Robertsbridge, or is there somewhere a bit closer to home which I can run the LMP12. I still want to do the national event or events. I would like to give that another go. I seem to have found a little bit of an improvement when I last drove this, the indoor track at the pits, when I went there with an RC Kicks event. It's just for me and my own personal controlling the car, I found I was a little bit more consistent. I wouldn't say I'm still nowhere near national spec, national skill. But it will come. I am getting all the advice I'm getting. It's slowly getting there. So for this final video at the moment, unless anything changes, if you did watch my previous video, I did break some titanium screws, and there's still one broken on there. So I'm going to show you that. We're going to quickly, I say quickly, it's not a massive job. It's a bit fiddly, but it just involves dismantling a brace and reattaching that again with some I've got to take the screw out. The screw's still in the stud is still in there. I'll show you that as well. But we're going to remove that. I've got another brace, and I've got some aluminium inserts which I will show you as I'm installing. I've got them. I bought them with the idea of actually changing it anyway, because the side springs, one of those was actually loose, but it's the insert that was loose for some reason. I don't know. It seems to be a bit. It seems weird. I did speak to a few people at the event, and they said they looked to me as if I'm talking gibberish. But so it's clearly either I've got something odd, I'm doing something odd, or it's just a rare thing. Anyway, hopefully this won't be too long a video actually. So I'm gonna remove some bits and pieces. I'll try and show you. The problem is with the GoPro, it doesn't. I can't zoom in. It's really bad. And if I move the camera closer, I can like that. I can only get so close, and then it goes all out of focus. I think that's a GoPro thing. I suppose the next upgrade might have to be a different camera, but I don't know. I mean, we've gone. I've got this camera. This is okay for like outdoor stuff and filming from either the controller or my head or something, whatever. But close up indoor and normal sort of vlogging, if you like, you can use your phone. Lots of people use their phones, don't they? But and I have used my phone, which actually comes out really well. It's just I haven't got a lot of space. There's another option there. Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm sort of going off. I'll start talking myself into other avenues. Let's get this stripped down a little bit and let me show you what I mean. This brace here, which holds the side springs, and it's part of the, it's important, it's quite part of the flex. And you can see that these are titanium. I've got to move my hand, I've got to remember where I'm looking. Titanium screw heads there. There's one there, one there. That's a blank. Well, these are, what are they? What are they? Are they? Yeah, they hold a brace there, don't they? these things. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, there's them. There's one here, and there should be one there. Let me move my big fat finger out of the way. Can you see that? Well, that should be a titanium head, but it's not there. So the stud's still there, and it makes that loose. I did note, because if I do that, it comes up, but the other side, that won't do that. So yeah, that's quite important. And I did notice a difference in the second time I run this, because I couldn't bother to take it all apart. It makes a difference. I did notice it. In the first rounds, I was like, it was very darty, but not too darty. Do you know what I mean? It changed direction, but was sort of snappy. It was quite good. But in the second running, it was like, I don't know, a bit evasive, and that clearly that has something to do with it. So, oh, by the way, there's these bits here which have the side springs on. Well, that's the one that I had to super glue in because it actually came loose. So I've got another brace and some different inserts. So I need to take all this off, which I'm hoping that I don't snap any more of these off. I'm a bit concerned about these. They just snapped. I didn't even put any force on them. I don't know why I was undoing it. I think I was testing it. I think I just tested it with the hex, and it's like, I didn't even put any pressure on it as such. So yeah, this could be a bit more of a mission than I anticipate. But anyway, I'm going to get this off, undo the side tubes, and I'll get it to one side, and I'll be back. Just as a side note thing here, I've taken both side compression struts off, dampers. You can see the amount of dirt that gets on there, like dust and crap. Don't realise, do you? I mean, they do, obviously they're not sealed, and the oil stroke grease will come out, won't it? But yeah, it does make a bit of a mess. In my handheld zoomed in crap camera. This is a GoPro 9, by the way, I think it is. Yeah, GoPro 9. I don't know. I like GoPros, but they're not always suitable, are they, for what I need? Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to give that a clean off. Because they're attached to the upper deck here, so I don't need to... I'm not going to fill them with oil. There's no point putting the right weight oil in there and then sit on the shelf. I'm just going to wipe them down, and I'll just clip them back on, ready for when I next use it. So it came off really easy. I mean, it is there. I've got to take it, got to strip all that down because I've got another one of them. But you can see there the stud on that top post. The other screws came out really easy. Like, there was no pressure. Like, undone. They didn't even actually... I put a very small amount of Loctite. It's Schumacher have this like really weak Loctite, because it goes into like metals spaces on here, and that one just, as you see, snapped off. But this needs to be stripped down and rebuilt with the new brace, or does it? What have I got to do? I'm trying to think now. Maybe I haven't. Maybe I can still use that brace. Saying that. Because the only thing that's loose was the insert here for the spring, but it has fitted. It's back in normally now. So saying that, the whole beginning of this video, delete, because it's only the stud that's snapped, which I will remove and put another screw in and put it back together. Less work, innit? Give it a wipe down. Yeah, so I don't know what I was thinking. I'm trying to think, is there something else I've forgotten? Don't think so. Anyway, being planned, prior preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. Anyway, I'm gonna crack on. Let me undo some of these bits and pieces, and I'll be back. I've got to take that stud out first. You think you've got everything off, don't you? When you clean things up. I mean, I've got the stud there. Not that that's any good to me, but you know. But you clean things up, I don't know if you can see that. Look at the crap that comes out of a car when you just take one bit off. I mean, that will make a difference in certain things. I mean, it's not major, it's only fluff. It looks like fluff, doesn't it? But when you strip these down, like this at this point, you can see like the rear pod. Once you've undone some bits and pieces, that whole rear pod will just come off. it's probably very easy to to strip this down. You forget, don't you? It's one of those, because I'm still relatively new, and I've been building it forever, it would seem. But in reality, it's actually quite a simple design and accessible if things need adjusting. I still think, I suppose what I might do one day, I mean, I could have done with doing it now, but I just haven't got time, is taking this rear pod off and making sure it's not twisted or tweaked in any way. So I think it might be. But anyway, yeah, it's a much easier fix than first thoughts. I've only got to put this back on. I'll probably wipe down a bit more underneath here that I can get to and stick it back on. I don't know whether I'll Loctite it yet, because that's what caused the problem, I think, in the first place. But anyway, yeah. So let me just put it all back on, and I will be back in a minute. Well, whilst I got this brace off, I just took two of the normal screws out. They were underneath, so the ones that sort of fit the body posts on. Put them to titanium. What's it make? I mean, they probably are a little bit lighter, but it's not going to make any difference. It's just whilst it's off, they're there. I may as well take them out. So, yeah. So that's them done. Right, let's get this put back together. Well, that was a bit of a mission. That's the old one. Move my stuff out of the way. New one. It's no different. The only difference is there's an insert that's not there now. I've took it out. Well, that one's stripped. It moves within the bracket. I've got it. I have to try and see if I can find a way of gluing it back in, because the rest are fine. These are brass inserts, and I replaced them with effectively what is aluminium inserts. A little bit lighter, I suppose. Yeah, it's seems all right. I mean, they are slightly lighter, aren't they? But at least the spring platforms, if you like, or whatever they are, the side springs are not loose and they can be adjusted. I just felt when I put that one back on the chassis, the springs were slightly, there was a bit of tension on the springs. I don't know. But anyway, I've got them right up. I can always adjust them next time I set it up. So let's put this back on the car. The old Bob's your uncle thing again. So give me a second. That's all done. It was a bit more involved than firstly anticipated, but I have changed it. I haven't set it up at all, nothing like that. It does. I don't know. It feels alright. I mean, it's not. I'm looking at the sort of way it goes back and forth. Obviously, it shouldn't be loose. It feels a bit tighter than perhaps it was. Maybe that's because the inserts that you've put on, I think they sit a bit more proud. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think now. Let me just put this back on, or not. Offer it up, not put it back on. Yeah, well, these inserts there fit flush. Now there is a recess underneath there. Can't see it now, but I think the spring sits slightly more proud. Don't know. I mean, it's obviously it's going to change something, isn't it? It's always something. What do you think? The inserts that I put in are not as flush as what these ones are. I mean, that hasn't got one anyway, but oh, that's missing. Right, so I'm talking out loud. So these inserts here, that one, that's where the spring cone would butt up against. So it's quite low and it's quite far in. Whereas these are the other ones there. It's proud. That one doesn't sit far enough up. But I did make sure that when I put this on, it was the correct way round. There was a recess which that would go into. But to me, I was going to put the camera down because I know holding the camera is always a bit of a negative, I find, for people, comments. So at the minute, that see, what I can tell is on that side, give me a second, let me just let my dog in and try and show. I'm going to have to hold the camera because it's really awkward. It's all right. Scratch the dog. Scratch the dog, scratch the dog. Right, can you see the spring there? Pretty can't with this camera. Well, I can see it. Hopefully you can see it there. So it's actually got very light tension, very light tension. On the other side, which I'll probably see down there, very light tension. But what I can't do is come up anymore. I might be able to move it a fraction up, but it's not like a huge amount. No, I mean, it is as high as it can go. I mean, a little bit maybe, but I'm not going to mess around with it now. But it does feel a bit more cushioned. Should it be like that? Is that right? Won't know until I use it. There's no reason why it shouldn't be any different. But anyway, it's in. Wants another complete setup again, but we'll do that as and when we get round to trying this out again. So there's a mess I've got to clear up. So this actually is the end of the LMP series at the moment. There'll be another one when I start racing it again, probably after the summer. Let me just put my camera down a minute. So yeah, that's the end of the LMP sort of run. I hope you enjoyed this sort of build up to the noob side of the BRCA national racing. I will go back out again. I'm hoping to do a couple next year. I'd like to think I could, you know, not be as in the way, and you never know, maybe slightly progress above the lower rank, just maybe. But it's a long learning curve. We'll see once I get the fixtures for next year, or sort of, you know, once this club meetings start again, I can perhaps go back to a club meeting. I think the nationals don't start till like January, February, or whenever it was. January, wasn't it? So yeah, so that'll do for now. Give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on this, the upgrades. Give me your thoughts on what I've said during the video. Does it all make sense? Am I talking sense? Is there anything that I should be wary of regarding the back pod? It does feel better, but I'm not so sure. I can only compare it to what I had. As far as the old, or this bit's concerned, it's not old. What I've got to try and do is put an insert in there, and so it stays in there. I have got super glue. I might try stronger sort of super glue to put it in. I've got the insert still. But yeah, the actual, you can see there that the insert I'm talking about, or the hole there, has got a recess on it, and so is the ones on this. But I think the inserts themselves are slightly different shape, unless they are different inserts, unless they're different inserts that go in there. I can't remember. Anyway, all is well, all is good. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch up with you towards the latter part of the year for any more LMP 12, unless something changes between now and then. I've got other projects going on now, so there will be an update on future projects for the RC, for racing. I will be back in touch very soon. Hope you enjoyed it, and bye for now.